Okay, hi Harrison. Thanks for coming in. So as we talked about, I'm going to be asking you a couple of questions to try to get to know you. But really what I want to focus on is trying to get to know some of your social identities. Do you know that term, social identities?
I'm familiar, but maybe you can help me out.
Sure. So social identity is how a person identifies based on their various group memberships. And some of these groups might experience oppression or privilege. And some examples of these are race and age, ethnicity, physical and mental health. And so are you okay if we kind of go down that path and I ask you some questions about that?
Sure.
Great. So, maybe these are things that you haven't thought about before, so just try to answer honestly. Why don't we start by just talking about your marital status and how that's impacted your life or how that's important to you?
Sure. So, my marital status, according to my tax papers, is single.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been married. I guess I would consider myself in a committed relationship, but ultimately, according to the government, I am single.
Mm-hmm. Is marriage something that's important to you?
It's something that I value, but to say it's important to me is a tough question considering I've never been married. So the idea of marriage is something that I value, I guess. Yeah.
And it sounds like you're in a committed relationship, so maybe being in a relationship is something you value rather than being married legally.
Sure. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fair to say.
Cool. Okay, so tell me about culturally, how did you grow up?
How did I grow up culturally?
Did you have any cultural routines that you followed or any?
Yeah, I suppose, maybe some of this counts, but I grew up in Short Pump, Richmond, Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
Long way from home. But, let's see, I grew up being raised Jewish, so for a little while there, my parents were split, so I lived with my mom mostly. I celebrated, Jewish holidays with both my mom and my dad as my time was being split. So that was cool. I got double presents. It was always nice. My mom's commitment to that, to her religious practice, slowly subsided, as to my dad's as time went on. So I didn't really do I wasn't really raised in the full Jewish community that's typically a typical child might be. But I was exposed, I guess, to...
So it sounds like you did a lot of maybe culturally Jewish customs with your mom and your dad.
Yeah.
But maybe not, you weren't really as much as a part of the bigger Jewish community?
Yeah, that's, that would be my religious answer, the religious aspect of, to your question. I guess culturally, for me at least, I grew up being parts of athletic teams, always being a part of being on an athletic team all seasons. Grew up in a small neighborhood, decently sized neighborhood where you could ride your bike to a friend's house. So things like swim team and cookouts and football practice and all that was part of my cultural upbringing, I suppose you could say.
So having a lot of social interactions was a big part of your
for sure.
Your culture growing up, so to speak.
Yeah, it was all play nice, make friends, all that stuff will last.
Great. And how old are you now?
Right now? Right now I'm 28. Monday I turned 29.
Oh, well, happy early birthday.
Thanks. Yeah, appreciate it.
And so do you mind if we talk about your socioeconomic status?
Do I mind? No. What does that entail? Sure, go ahead.
So what Do you know what socioeconomic status is?
I mean, why don't you enlighten me?
Well, what class would you say that you grew up in?
Middle.
Middle class?
Yeah, I don't know. Middle, yeah.
Okay. And do you feel that, I assume you identify as a male?
Yep.
And has that impacted you at all? Has that been an important part of kind of developing your personality?
Being a male or being raised middle class?
Male.
Has that played a role in my developing my personality? I've never given it a second thought, so maybe, I don't know. I've never given that much thought.
It's always just kind of
always been what I am, so yeah, I don't really dive deep into that. Perhaps.
And so you mentioned having a committed partner. So so what is your sexual orientation?
That would be straight.
And so you identify as male. She identifies as female. Okay, good. And how would you describe your mental and physical health right now?
My mental and physical health right now? How would I describe that? Well, I'm 28, so physically, I am not in the same shape that I was in when I was 21. But overall, I would describe my physical health as positive, healthy. Healthy 28-year-old white straight male. Mentally, all the lights are on, thankfully.
And when you say all the lights are on, do you mean what do you mean by that? Maybe you can expand.
Yeah,
a little bit.
I think that developing mental health is interesting, right? Like there's so many different roads you could take with this conversation, I guess. For me personally, I think that my mental health I associate with how I've grown throughout the years. So I equate that with emotional intelligence, empathy and perspective for my social environments, checking in with myself, knowing tying it into the physical, checking in with my body, checking in with my mind. Those are all practices that over the years I've grown to appreciate and slowly but surely accommodate.
Now, are these practices that you've kind of prioritized in recent years, trying to work on and further develop?
Yeah, so over the years, I've slowly become more open and to the fact that these are real things. So over the years, I've appreciated them more and incorporated them more. There's probably an end-all goal of living these concepts daily. That's something that takes a lot of work to incorporate fully. And is it a personal goal of mine at the moment? Probably not. Realistically, truly, is it an ideal? Yeah, definitely. Just because it's something that I would desire, but might not be incorporating daily.
So what it sounds like is you feel pretty content where you are with your physical and mental health, but kind of in the background, there's always that idea that you want to maybe find ways to push yourself to.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
improve.
I think complacency is the worst thing that could happen. So never do I want to be complacent in physical and mental and social and all of the above.
Good. I'm just going to check the time here, and Yeah, so it sounds like we have a couple more minutes, and I just wanted to kind of note that some of the strengths that I hear, it sounds like you are really, you feel really content where you are right now and really confident in your 28-year-old, soon to be 29-year-old self. And it sounds like you feel pretty healthy mentally and physically. And is that right?
Yeah.
That's great. All right. Well, thank you so much for your help. And
No, thank you.
and it was good to talk to you.
Yeah, you too, Sam.